Joining me now, Mathew Whitaker, former acting attorney general. Matt, good to see you. So El Paso is run by Democrats. Do they have the president or the vice president's ear? Because, again, it's been denial and lies at every turn since they took office.
Yeah, it's good to be with you, Dagan. You know, I don't think that the Democrats agree, at least the Texas Democrats in El Paso agree with Joe Biden's policies, because, you know, this is not, we're beyond our breaking point. We have more people came into the El Paso sector, over 200,000 came in through that sector alone in July, and that was more than the entire year of 2021. So it is exponentially becoming a bigger problem. And to the Bill's reporting, you know, it is just, you know, right now Texas and the cities in Texas are bearing that burden. But I think it is definitely time that blue cities start paying a bigger price for these blue policies, because right now it is unsustainable, and we are reaching a point where not only is it broken, but I don't think long term that we can sustain our sovereignty as a country, Dagan. I'm really very, very concerned.
Well, what land is border czarina Kamala Harris living in? Listen to what she said over the weekend, Matt.
The border is secure, but we also have a broken immigration system. We have a secure border in that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration. But there are still a lot of problems that we are trying to fix, given the deterioration that happened over the last 4 years.
Matt, why don't you answer that while I beat my head on the desk?
No, we have a turnstile border that is waving people through. It is solely on the Biden administration, and border czar Kamala Harris bears a lot of this responsibility to, you know, again, to administrate the border. Like every other country has figured this out, except the United States of America. And I just want to be clear with everyone watching, we are the most generous country in the world. We admit over 1 million people legally to permanent status in the United States of America. So it's not a matter of having a system that works. We just cannot continue to wave people through with a notice to appear and expect that they're not going to keep coming in the thousands and the tens of thousands every day. It is, Dagan, this policy is ridiculous.
Oh, they're not getting notices to appear, Matt. The Wall Street Journal reported last week that many migrants are left in legal limbo because the U.S. is failing to file cases. About 47,000 of 284,000 cases completed in U.S. immigration courts between October and June were dismissed because a document known as a notice to appear wasn't filed. So it is a morass, and that is an insult to swamps and sewage lagoons to call this system a morass. And one other thing about the vice president, she talks about the need for immigration reform. Well, because it's such a disaster at our border and because they're not enforcing the existing immigration laws, it will never get right-sized. There's not going to be any reform coming out of Washington until it gets fixed, which this administration shows no capacity to do.
Well, or no desire. I mean, I think, you know, everybody knows how this works. I mean, when I was at the Department of Justice, we plussed up the judges at the border in the immigration courts, you know, and we made sure we had to stay in Mexico policy. And we had all of these policies that worked, Dagan. They reversed all of these policies. And now, literally, there is no policy. All they are doing is opening the door, unlocking the lock, and letting people walk across. And to your point, they're not even getting notices to appear now. And it is just the system. It's broken, and the only solution is to lock down the border and to actually do the things the way we did it in the Trump administration, and it's working.
And then Lori Lightfoot, at Chicago mayor, some of the illegal migrants have been sent to Chicago. The mayor of El Paso is sending some to New York City. She complains about those migrants being in her city. Questions Governor Greg Abbott's Christian faith, but then surreptitiously is sending some of those migrants to at least one Republican suburb of Chicago, not only looking but sounding hypocritical.
Well, let's not forget, these are Democrat policies. This is Joe Biden's America. This is what he wants. And so people like Lori Lightfoot and the mayor of New York, Adams, and others, including, Muriel Bowser in D.C., need to bear the cost of these policies. And these are they own this. This is the left's vision for America, which is open borders, crime and chaos in our streets that are a result of that illegal immigration. And it's just, again, the American people are bearing the burden, and I expect that in 2022 and 2024, they will vote for a border policy that actually works for the American interest.
I repeat something that's been said before, but they need to pick one or the other. They want a welfare state, but you can't have wide open borders and a welfare state unless you want the United States of America bankrupted. So they need to pick one or the other. Not that either is a palatable choice, but you can't have both. Final word, Matt.
Right. No, you're right. And again, these policies have a price, and the major cities can't bear that price, and nor can the state of Texas and the state of Arizona and the state of New Mexico. So, the bottom line is to actually have a system that serves the American interest. And we had that in place in the Trump administration, and they completely reversed everything. And it's not surprising where we find ourselves right now.
Right. That Venezuelan flag hanging on the fence, that should make everybody quake in their boots or high heels, depending on who you are. Matt.
I'm wearing high heels, so I'll go with my boots.
Matt Whitaker, thank you so much. Great to see you, sir.